Welcome to our second edition of Weekly Words with WaPrep. I'm Teresa.
And I'm Eunice.
And we have in our audience 4 of our students here at our school. We have Chloe Coggins, Kurt.
Hello.
Evan.
Hi!
And Justin.
I'm back! Stop, Justin.
Justin is really loud.
And very excited to return to us this week. Let us let you know what our words are for the week. We have benefit, complete, dismay, develop, lack, project or project, recommend, master, remark, and sufficient. Let's get started with our first word, benefit. As a verb, benefit is used to mean to help or to be useful to. As a noun, it's used to mean something that helps an event to raise money. So, if I'm using it as a verb, we can say something like, I would like to benefit you by assigning lots of homework so you can have plenty of practice. What do you think about that sentence, Miss Teresa?
I think that's perfect. I think there's a lot of benefit from studying hard and doing homework.
I do too, which is why I assigned so much of it, as my students can tell you.
Yes. Too much.
You see, my students agree. You benefit from it, of course, on occasion. So let's think about it as a noun.
Mm-hmm.
So we can say that we know that there are people who need help. And in order for us to help them, we would like to raise money. So in order to do that, we would hold an event called a benefit. So for example, students could bake cupcakes and sell them and then use that money to help others. So that would be a benefit. Can you think of any other kinds of activities we could do as a benefit, Justin? Okay.
Or maybe like a car wash.
Car wash? Okay, that's an idea. What about you, Evan? What kind of benefit could we have?
Maybe we could have like a fundraiser and we could like set up like a hot dog stand or something.
Oh, great. I love how everything is revolving around food. Kurt, what do you have as an idea for holding a benefit?
Oh, we could like clean up a park by picking up the trash.
Absolutely. Look after your environment. And Chloe, what's your idea for using a benefit?
We could help animals or like make a fun drive or something like that.
Mhm.
Or like toys or something.
Yeah. I also know that a lot of times there are meals that are prepared or for the event and people buy tickets for the meal. And then sometimes it's a very fancy meal. People come dressed up and sometimes they even have special speakers to speak at the benefit.
Oh, that sounds like fun. You know, I'm actually going to a benefit next month. It's called the Fur Ball. The Fur Ball is a benefit dance that lets us raise money for animals that are in need. So I'm really looking forward to that because it will be a fun event because a benefit should be fun. And I also get to help animals, which I like to do.
Miss Eunice, do you get to dress up like a fur ball?
I am actually planning to wear a dress with lots of cats on it. So in this case, yes.
All right. Does anybody out there in our audience have the word benefit? Chloe, could you tell us what you have on your notes there?
A benefit, so a verb would be to help or be useful to, and then something that helps an event or to raise money.
Right.
So can you think of a sentence to go with that?
I benefit from doing my homework.
Oh, yay, I like to hear that. Chloe's one of my students. Excellent. Okay. Kurt, do you have a sentence you think you could use for the word benefit?
Maybe raising money would benefit the homeless people.
Okay, excellent. Again, more civic mindedness. Fantastic. Evan?
So having more money would benefit give have the president put more money into education and other stuff.
Absolutely. Excellent example.
So like if you have like a lot of money, like you would benefit from like the extra food you can get. Like Fred Meyer.
And that's our Justin. Wonderful examples all. Let's move on to our next word. Miss Teresa, do you have that one for us?
Yes, our next word is complete. It's an adjective, and it is to finish with no missing parts. I like to complete my homework, and I like it when the students in my class complete their homework. What about you, Miss Eunice? Do you like when they complete the assignments you give them?
Oh, my day is not complete unless my students have completed their homework.
Completed, yes.
Our past tense usage of it there. I can also use complete when I'm talking about, a situation where there are lots of different things that have to be done, and you need different people to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, when we were first learning how to knit, which several of my students are very fond of doing, they only had some of their tools. They did not have a complete set of tools.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have their looms, they have their yarn, they have their hooks, they have everything they need to complete their knitting projects.
So no missing parts at all.
No missing parts at all.
That's good. Who has the word complete? Chloe.
Complete is to finish with no missing parts.
Oh.
Or finish.
Mm-hmm. Can you think of a sentence?
I make sure to finish my homework. Complete my homework.
There you go.
Justin, what about you? Do you have something for complete?
So like most dictators, like during war, like sometimes like they have complete control like over their country. Like Joseph Stalin had complete control over the Soviet Union.
Very good.
That
Clearly
is
one of
good.
my students.
Yep.
Good example. Evan, what do you have for us on the word complete?
So my meal is not complete without rice.
I agree.
Yes.
My meal is also not complete unless I've had rice. Fantastic. Kurt, what do you have for us?
So sometimes when I'm doing laundry, I don't always finish because I leave like socks at the bottom. So that wouldn't be complete.
Absolutely not. You need your socks and you
So,
need them to be
I have
clean.
a question, Kurt. You actually do your own laundry?
Well, I do like everyone's laundry with my
What?
sister.
You mean you put it away?
No, we fold it.
Very nice.
I am very impressed.
I don't do that.
I do that with my mom.
Your family will benefit from that.
Absolutely. The whole family benefits when we work together to complete a task.
Yay!
Our next word for today is going to be dismay.
Ooh.
This is a difficult word, I think. So, you can cause someone dismay. If you cause someone dismay, it means you're making them feel fear or worry or surprise. For example, when I have assigned 5 or 6 pages of reading and I come to class the next day and the students say, "Oh, I didn't do the reading," I feel a great deal of dismay because I cannot continue our work.
Yes.
It makes me feel great worry, and I'm also surprised when they did not complete their work.
I can use that word dismay in regards to my children. There are times, just a few, that they did not return home in time. And I had dismay. I was worried. I had fear. Where were they? Why were they not home on time?
That's a great example. Who's got the word dismay for today?
Me. So it means to cause feelings of fear, worry, or surprise, or the noun is sudden loss of courage because of fear.
Can you think of a wonderful sentence that can explain that word to us all?
The dog was dismayed when the owner didn't give them any treats.
Oh,
That's good.
absolutely. Our
Yeah.
pets do not like it, and they feel great dismay when we fail to give them treats.
Yesterday our school went on a field trip, and they were asked to do some challenging activities on this field trip Did anybody have any dismay when they
No.
were challenged physically to climb high and then swing off the tall pole? Nobody?
I got an atomic wedgie out of it.
Well, that doesn't sound very pleasant. Did you feel dismayed when you got your atomic
Not really.
wedgie?
It was worth it.
It was worth it.
It's like skydiving. It's like skydive simulator.
Oh. Well, I felt a little dismay when I got up there. I didn't go all the way up because I had a sudden loss of courage.
The message.
Yeah.
Well, I felt a bit of dismay yesterday because I thought the students would be back at school by 3:30. And I looked at the clock and it was 3:40. And so I began to feel very worried
Yes.
and feel a sense of fear because I thought, oh no, something has happened to them. And then their parents came to pick them up. And then the parents also felt dismayed
Yes.
because the children had not arrived yet. Luckily, everyone arrived.
Yeah.
Just a little bit late, so we realized that our feelings of dismay were not necessary.
That's good. Our next word is develop. To develop something is to grow it. Children develop as they grow, as they become elementary school students and then middle school students and then high school students. Each time they're developing into better and better students and learners. You also look at a child's development when they're born and you take them to the doctor for doctor visits to make sure that they're developing correctly, that they are growing at the right pace and getting enough nutrients and food. Can you think of any other uses, kids, for the word develop? A sentence maybe? Yes, Justin.
So like over time, I developed a habit of like whenever I get hungry, I just go to like the kitchen and see if there's any food for me to consume.
Right? You can grow a habit. That's right. You can develop habits, good and bad. Anybody else?
You can also develop like an English paper by working on it. Like, every day.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Papers. You can develop papers. Can you develop buildings?
Yes.
What do you think? Have you ever heard the term development
Yes.
Yeah, like a building or country.
or neighborhood development?
Or there could also be like a developing disease.
Ooh, yes.
Like you are all developing a cold now, I believe.
Or like developing a military project. Like
What do you need in order to develop something before you start? Yes, Justin.
like a lot of years of experience, or
Okay.
maybe some money, like or either that or like a good amount of money if you're like doing a military project, or like if you're developing a country, you also need a lot of money to get the supplies.
And you need a plan, right?
Yeah.
Without a plan, you can have all the money and supplies in the world, but you need to know what to do with them.
That's right. Makes sense.
All right, let's look at our next word, and that's going to be lack. Wow, that word has so many connotations, but we'll start with the most basic meanings. For as a verb, it means to be without. So, for example, today is a very hot and sunny day outside. So we do not lack sunshine
Yes.
today.
Yay.
We do lack rain today, but not sunshine. As a noun, it means shortage. Okay. People often said to me before I moved here to Washington State, oh, you're going to experience a lack of sunshine. And I said, oh, great, because I'm very tired of living in hot countries. But guess what? Since I've been here, I've seen an awful lot of sun. I don't think there's a shortage or lack of sunshine in Washington State.
You can also have a lack of food or a lack of money. A lot of people in our state are without money or even a place to live. So they lack housing, they lack food and clothing. Can you boys and girls think of anything with the word lack in it? Maybe a sentence or an idea that you may have.
Lack of experience.
Oh, yes. Chloe said to have a lack of experience would be to not have any experience, to be short of experience or to be without experience.
Like if you're trying to hire a professor, you wouldn't hire one with lack of brain power.
Very good.
Excellent.
So, children in Africa sometimes lack food.
Yes.
So they get malnutrition.
Ooh, that's a big word. Malnutrition coming from a lack of food.
Mhm.
Good.
People can also lack exercise, so
Yeah.
they might not be as fit.
Very good.
Oh, very common, unfortunately, among our young people all over the world today. A lack of exercise.
Wonder why children aren't exercising as much. Does anybody have any idea why there's a lack of exercise, Justin?
Because they don't want to waste time exercising. They want to consume the good food. instead.
Okay, certainly. Many children prefer to eat
What else
instead of exercising.
Right.
What else?
What else is there?
Like video games. If they want to play video games and they don't exercise, or maybe they want to read or like watch TV.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Yes. That is going to be a problem for the generations.
Uh-huh.
Yay! Hooray! It's gonna be a problem.
Well, you can solve it. In fact, our next word is project. And project means a plan to accomplish something. So, Justin, you can maybe have a project for your generation.
My project is to project my voice around the world so everybody can hear it.
Excellent. And what does it mean to project something?
That's like to stick out and show like let's say if I projected my voice, that means like I made it louder so like people would notice it. Like if I projected something on the wall, that means I showed an image of it like through like
Very
one of those
good.
little thingies that I go zoom and like make an image through light.
That's thingies that go zoom, meaning a projector.
Yeah, those things.
So Justin, you mentioned that you would be interested in projecting your voice. Okay. Are there times when one should project their voice and times when one should not project their voice? Can you give examples?
So like if you want to project your voice, maybe it's during like a large speech with like let's say people like you want to project your voice so everybody can hear you. If they don't hear you, that's useless that you made a speech. But like let's say you're in a library, you wouldn't want to project your voice because that would make it so like everybody would hear you, and then that would be kind of embarrassing.
Good.
That's right. There's times to project your voice and there's times not to. Do you think teachers need to project their voice when they're talking?
Yeah.
Do you think students should be projecting their voice when the teacher's talking?
Nope.
Justin, please.
What?
Good and clear. Let's see.
Oh, do you want to say something about?
So like I'm doing a science project and I need to turn it in tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Like that's
A project, yeah. So there's two different ways to say this word. There's the project, like we were talking about showing an image or a voice, like projecting your voice. But there's also the project. It's spelled the same. It's pronounced slightly different, right? And Evan was talking about his project that he has due tomorrow in science. Is that what you said, Evan? Yeah. Okay. Anybody else want to add to this word, project or project?
I would like to add to project.
Okay.
In my 7th grade class, they worked for a couple of weeks on a project about a Native American group that we're going to go and visit. And then for that project, they had to give a presentation as well. So often when students will do a project, they have to give some kind of presentation of that project.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have that word? Then some additional sentences they'd like to say about it?
I have a question. Would the word projectile be closely related to the word project?
It is exactly part of it. So, for example, a projectile is what?
It's like an object that you would shoot like through like let's say like a bullet would be a projectile.
Or a ball in your hand is also one. Okay.
And
So, which form of the word does that go with?
Like the project, to show an image, like make it like appear. Like,
Good.
So
Mm-hmm.
To throw out there.
Yay. Yay.
Let's look at our next word, recommend. Oh, I like this word. Okay.
Yes.
When you recommend something, you're giving it praise. You're saying something good about it. It can also mean that you're giving advice or a suggestion. So we know that when students are getting ready to prepare to go to university, we have to write them some kind of recommendation as their teachers. And in that recommendation, we're supposed to say lots of good things about the student to let the future professors know that we recommend this student because they are a good student. They are a hardworking student.
Mm-hmm. Yes, to give them praise or to give suggestions also is another form of the word recommend. A lot of times teachers will give recommendations to their students on how they can maybe change a paper that they wrote or change the way they did something on a project, and that would be to suggest or to give advice. Another form of recommend that I'm thinking of, a lot of times I ask people to recommend a movie to go to or to watch, or to recommend a restaurant. I even ask for people to recommend a doctor that they like, someone that they have gone to and think highly of. You guys have a sentence for recommend or a thought about that word?
Well, you could recommend like a video game to someone that you really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
You could recommend a book.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What about recommending a dish to eat?
Or a restaurant.
If someone has not tried a type of food.
Like sometimes it's sort of good restaurants, like saying, "Hey Siri, tell me some good restaurants." And Siri's like, "Okay, here are some that I found online." And like there's a bunch of close nearby restaurants that people like say are 4-star, but normally it tastes really bad.
Oh, so then you don't trust that recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. We will not use that when we're looking for new restaurants to go to.
I know that a lot of times when my car would break down, I needed a recommendation of a mechanic to take the car to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's always nice to have a recommendation of somebody that has been good, has given good service.
Mm. Well, I know I often work with my advisory group of students, and I ask them to recommend some activities for them to do, because I like for students to think of what they might be interested in and would be willing to pursue. So I ask them to recommend to me those activities, because I don't necessarily know what a young person wants to do. We need recommendations from them.
That's right. We need suggestions. Okay, the next word is master. This can be used as an adjective for chief or somebody who is very skilled in an area or an expert in an area. It can also be a verb, to become skilled at. You can master a subject. You can master an art. You can master a song when you're singing a song. So to be a master of something is to become very skilled at it. There's master chefs. There's
Master teachers.
master teachers, yes, definitely.
And we have Justin here, who is becoming a master of knitting on the loom. Why do you think you're becoming a master of knitting on the loom, Justin? What do you do?
Like I practiced a lot, and like my first loom, I was kind of encouraged because my brother's birthday was coming up, and I had to quickly complete it. So then I quickly learned and like figured out some fast strategies to quickly do it.
You're becoming very skilled at it. I see you're adding some different colors. Where last scarf that you made, you stayed at one color. So you are becoming skilled. We do have another person here that is very skilled at flying in the air. He doesn't actually fly. He does have ropes and safety gear on. But Kurt, you are a master. I think it's a natural skill actually for you. I don't think you've done it a whole lot, but just looking at the way you do it, you are a master. We all admire your skill.
Yes, I remember watching him go upside down one time when we were at a high ropes course.
Okay,
and I thought, my goodness, is he going to be injured? But he wasn't.
And now he has a nickname.
Oh.
Chloe, what's Kurt's nickname?
Kurt the Bertha.
No.
Tarzan.
Tarzan.
Mr. Tarzan.
I only remembered Kurt the Bertha.
Why? Well, I've never heard that one.
That's his YouTube name.
Oh.
Oh, we don't know about that.
I don't know what that is.
So those were some interesting remarks coming to our next word.
Oh.
So To remark about something is to say something about it. So we have made several remarks about Kurt's skills in flying through the air, Justin's skill working on the loom. Mm-hmm. What are some other ways we can use the word remark? Who's got that word for us today? Ah, Kurt.
So there's like kind remarks, which are like nice things to say to people. Then there's like mean remarks or bad remarks, which are not very positive.
Do you think you guys can all say some remarks about each other that are nice right now?
You are a human.
Okay, that's pretty neutral. Let's say something nice. Chloe, you start. You who? Address someone.
Kurt, you are so great at being Tarzan's twin.
All right, so that's a positive
Chloe
remark.
made a remark, yes.
Kurt, would you like to make a remark?
Justin is good at knitting.
Okay.
That's a very
Another
nice
positive remark. Evan.
Kurt is good at Brawl Stars.
At what?
At what?
It's a video game.
Oh, at a video game. All right.
Okay.
Good and positive. And Justin.
Evan is very generous with his food. Like for trading.
All right, if you must. Justin has made a remark about food. We're not surprised.
Well, I have a remark about Chloe. Chloe, you are a very nice girl.
That's a lovely remark. So we have to remember that remarks can be positive or they can be negative. Let's all try to make positive remarks in this world. And this brings us to our last word.
Sufficient. Sufficient as an adjective means enough to fill a requirement or a need. When I go home and I look in my refrigerator at the beginning of the week, I realize it is sufficient for the week. I have plenty of food and groceries in there. But by the end of the week, we don't have very much left. Probably because I have 4 or 5 people living in my home, and it's just not enough at the end of the week. So we need to go to the grocery store and fill up the refrigerator again and make it sufficient. Who has that word in the audience?
Kurt, all right. What do you have to tell us about sufficient?
Like if you wanted to get a degree, your work that you're gonna put in it would have to be sufficient.
Good. Thinking ahead.
Yes.
Evan.
In certain dishes around the world, you have to have a sufficient enough amount of salt in each of them.
Very
Okay.
good.
So they taste better.
Yeah.
Good point.
Very good.
Culinary remark.
Nobody will eat it if it doesn't taste good. It has to be sufficient.
You also have to cook food sufficiently enough, otherwise it will still be alive and it'll be watching you as you eat it, and you'll be very guilty and you won't be able to sleep afterward. I know this because I've done that before.
What an interesting remark.
Yeah. Would you recommend eating?
Something looking
Live?
at you?
No, it makes me feel very, very guilty. And it makes it sound like it feels like I killed it just to get that delicious meal out of it.
No, I'm sorry you feel that way.
You were in dismay.
Yeah, kind of.
But you do not lack a conscience.
What?
That's a good thing.
Sometimes you have to develop tastes for things like that.
It's
Yes.
just that you feel really guilty. You're like, oh no, I killed that thing just to get a free meal.
Well, nothing is free. All right, let's take a look at your cards, students. And I want you to do what you did last time, which is come up with sentences that make sense in a row. All right? So, Chloe, we're going to have you start.
Benefit. I benefit in doing my homework.
That was a kind remark.
But doing my homework helps me develop my skills. I have a project with getting a bunch of people's homework and surveying how much % of their homework they completed.
Okay.
Well done, everyone. That concludes our program for the week. We look forward to seeing you next time.